All right. Buckle up, everybody, because today we are taking a deep dive into a place you might not expect. Petting zoos.
Petting zoos.
Oh, yeah, but hold on. We're not talking about those cute, fluffy bunnies and baby goats.
Oh, okay.
We are going to the dark side. This time, we're exploring the animals that definitely should not be in a petting zoo.
That's an interesting thought. What makes an animal suitable or not suitable for a petting zoo anyway?
Exactly, and that's what we're going to get into today. Our source material for this wild ride is a list from the Top 10's website.
Good.
It's called Top 10 Animals That Shouldn't Be in a Petting Zoo.
Interesting.
And let me tell you, they did not hold back. I mean, we're talking some seriously dangerous creatures here.
I can imagine.
Like, you think petting zoo, you're thinking like safe, family fun.
Right.
But this list, oh no, this is like a horror movie waiting to happen. Like Jurassic Park, but with goats.
Sounds a little intense.
So let's dive right in with one that's both beautiful and deadly. The golden poison dart frog. Tiny, but packs enough poison to take down hundreds of people.
It's true. Those bright colors are definitely a warning sign in nature.
Right. Like who sees a bright yellow frog and thinks, oh, I gotta pet that?
Well, they secrete a neurotoxin called batrachotoxin.
Say what now?
Batracho's toxin. It interferes with nerve impulses. But what's interesting is that this toxicity is linked to their diet in the wild.
Really?
Captive-bred dart frogs, completely harmless.
So basically you're saying it's what they eat that makes them poisonous.
Exactly.
Wow. Fascinating. But, even if they weren't poisonous, I'm not sure I'd want to pet one.
I can understand that.
And speaking of creatures that send shivers down your spine, let's talk about the box jellyfish.
Oh, those are fascinating creatures.
The list describes its sting as an unholy scream of eternal suffering.
Well, that might be a tad dramatic.
Just a tad.
But they do cause some agonizing pain. Box jellyfish have these stinging cells called nematocysts that inject venom on contact.
Yeah.
And certain species, like the Chironix fleckeri, are among the most venomous creatures on Earth. They have this cube-shaped bell called a medusa, which helps them move quickly through the water.
So not only are they deadly, they're fast.
They can be, yes.
Nope. I am out. Okay, let's move on from these small but deadly creatures and talk about some of the larger, more obvious no-nos for petting zoos. Nile crocodiles and great white sharks. I mean, come on. Who thought these were good petting zoo material?
It does seem a bit absurd, doesn't it? These apex predators play such important roles in their ecosystems.
Totally.
Their inclusion on the list really raises questions about how we view and interact with wild animals.
You're right. It's like we forget that they're wild animals, not cuddly toys.
Keeping them in a petting zoo would be incredibly dangerous, of course, but also detrimental to their well-being.
Absolutely. Not to mention utterly terrifying. I can't imagine even getting close enough to pet a great white. But it's almost as intimidating, even though it's an herbivore? The African elephant.
Elephants. Gentle giants, they say. But they're also incredibly intelligent and social animals with complex needs. And in captivity, those needs are often unmet.
Yeah, that's true.
It leads to stress and potentially dangerous behaviors, and their sheer size alone makes them a force to be reckoned with.
No kidding. Okay, so we've covered some cute, some scary, some huge GE.
Wow.
There's one that just gives me the creeps. The Brazilian wandering spider.
Oh, those are interesting spiders. They actually actively hunt their prey.
Wait, what do you mean actively hunt? Like, they don't just build a web and wait?
Nope. They roam around looking for trouble.
Oh, that's just great. And their venom?
Very potent.
That's all I needed to know.
It contains a powerful neurotoxin that can cause severe pain, paralysis, and in some cases, even death.
Okay, that's it. I'm never leaving my house again. And if that wasn't bad enough, we have the inland taipan.
The inland taipan.
Yep. The list describes it as the world's most venomous snake.
Oh, wow. That is one venomous snake. Its venom is incredibly potent.
Forget petting. I wouldn't want to be in the same continent as that thing.
Well, when you talk about venom toxicity, we often use the term LD50, which stands for median lethal dose.
LD50.
Yeah, it's the amount of venom needed to kill 50% of a test population.
Oh, wow. That's pretty intense.
And the inland taipan has a remarkably low LD50. Its venom is many times more potent than that of a rattlesnake or cobra.
Rattlesnakes and cobras are scary enough.
Right.
But there are a couple of entries on this list that have me totally confused. The blobfish and the snail? Seriously.
It does seem counterintuitive, doesn't it?
A little bit. I mean, they're basically harmless.
Well, the blobfish's inclusion is likely due to its deep-sea habitat. Those gelatinous creatures are adapted to extreme pressure.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
They wouldn't fare well in a petting zoo environment at all.
All right, I can see that. But snails, I mean, they're slow, they're slimy.
While many snails are harmless, certain species can carry parasites that can be transmitted to humans. So even seemingly innocuous creatures can pose health risks.
Wow, I never thought I'd be afraid of a snail.
It's all about knowing the risks.
This list is full of surprises. But there's one more entry that caught my eye, and it's pretty funny. Humans. The comment next to it is, did PETA find this list or something?
That's pretty good.
Right. I mean, I get the sentiment, but who's putting humans in a petting zoo?
Well, it makes us think about the bigger picture, doesn't it? The ethics of keeping any animals in captivity for entertainment purposes. It's complex. There are different perspectives to consider.
Definitely food for thought.
Mhm.
Now let's move on to some primates that are a lot less cuddly than they might appear. All right, we're back and ready to dive even deeper into this list of animals you definitely wouldn't want to encounter at a petting zoo. Before we took a little break, we talked about some creatures that are pretty intimidating, but now I think it's time to address the elephant in the room.
Oh, the elephant in the room.
Or should I say, the chimp in the petting zoo.
Ah, chimpanzees. Always a fascinating subject.
They're often portrayed as playful and intelligent,
Right, right.
but seeing them on this list, I don't know, it surprised me a little bit.
I think a lot of people might be surprised.
Yeah, maybe it's those news stories, you see every now and then.
Right, the ones that don't exactly paint a heartwarming picture of chimp-human interaction.
Exactly. So what is it about chimps that makes them so unsuitable for a petting zoo?
Well, for one thing, they possess incredible strength, far surpassing that of humans.
Really? I mean, they don't look that strong.
Pound for pound. They're much stronger than we are. And while they share a significant portion of our DNA, their behavior can be unpredictable, particularly in a captive environment.
I guess that makes sense. Like a petting zoo isn't exactly their natural habitat.
Exactly. Their natural social structures and outlets for energy might be limited in that setting.
So no chimp cuddles. Got it. But what about the slow loris? I mean, come on, those big eyes. It's practically begging to be petted.
The slow loris might look like the perfect cuddler buddy, but it's actually one of the few venomous mammals in the world.
Hold on. Venomous, seriously.
They have a gland near their elbow that secretes a toxin, which they can deliver through their bite.
Wait, so those adorable little things could actually poison you?
It's primarily used for defense against predators, but it can cause severe pain and allergic reactions in humans.
That's two surprises from seemingly harmless creatures on this list already.
It's a good reminder that appearances can be deceiving in the animal kingdom.
You got that right. And sadly, their cuteness often makes them a target for the illegal pet trade.
Which puts both the lorises and the potential owners at risk.
So the takeaway here is don't judge a creature by its cuteness. All right, we've covered some of the highlights from this list, but there are a few more I want to touch on. Bears, big cats, venomous snakes.
It seems like this list really runs the gamut.
Grizzly bears, African lions, Komodo dragons, pretty much every animal you'd expect to see in a wildlife documentary, not a petting zoo. But there's one that I just love the name of, the stonefish.
The stonefish is a master of camouflage, blending in perfectly with its surroundings.
So you could just step on it and not even know.
It happens. And that's part of the danger. They have venomous spines, too.
So it's like a hidden danger just lurking there.
Its venom is incredibly potent and can be fatal to humans.
Okay, now that's just scary. Definitely not something you'd want to try to pet. What about hippos? They always look so chill, just hanging out in the water.
Hippos might seem docile, but they're actually quite territorial.
Oh, really?
And they can be surprisingly fast and agile in the water. They have powerful jaws, sharp teeth. In fact, they're considered one of the most dangerous animals in Africa.
Wow, I had no idea. So much for those cuddly-looking herbivores.
Right.
It seems like this whole list is really showing us how important it is to understand and respect the natural behaviors of animals, even if they seem harmless at first glance.
Absolutely. Petting zoos should stick to animals that are well suited for human interaction and whose needs can be met in a captive environment.
This whole conversation has really made me think, wouldn't it be cool to have a petting zoo with creatures that are often overlooked or misunderstood?
Like a should be in a petting zoo list.
Exactly. What do you think?
I think that's a fantastic idea. Maybe some gentle breeds of sheep or goats, the ones known for their calm temperaments.
Yeah. Or what about some friendly reptiles, like bearded dragons?
That's a great suggestion.
I think it would be awesome to have a petting zoo that focuses on education,
Right.
Like teaching people about animals that might not be conventionally cute or cuddly, but are still fascinating and deserve our respect.
It would definitely challenge people's perceptions and encourage a deeper appreciation for the diversity of the animal kingdom.
This whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I'm realizing there's so much more to consider when it comes to petting zoos than I ever thought.
It's all about looking beyond the surface.
But there's one more animal on this list that I cannot believe we almost forgot about.
Oh.
And it might be the most surprising one yet.
Let me guess. Are we talking about the pufferfish?
You got it! A pufferfish in a petting zoo. Who even came up with that idea?
Well, the list mentions the pufferfish's unique defense mechanism, its ability to inflate itself when threatened.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And it also highlights the fact that some species are actually toxic.
Oh, right. They're like super poisonous, right?
The list compares their poison to cyanide.
Okay, now that is just crazy. Can you imagine trying to pet a pufferfish?
It would be like trying to cuddle a spiky balloon full of poison.
Exactly. All right, so we've established that pufferfish are a definite no-go for petting zoos.
Agreed.
But this whole deep dive has really got me thinking about our relationship with animals in a whole new way.
Yeah, it really makes you think, you know.
It really does. This whole idea of petting zoos. I mean, it's about more than just cuteness, isn't it?
It really is. We go in expecting those safe, cuddly animals, the ones we feel comfortable getting close to.
Right, like an extension of our domesticated companions.
Exactly. But this list really forces us to confront the wildness, the otherness of these creatures.
It's a reality check, reminding us that animals aren't just here for our entertainment or amusement.
Right. They're not just cute plushies come to life.
Yeah.
They have their own lives, their own purposes. It's about respect. Approaching these encounters with a sense of wonder, but also with caution.
You know, it's funny. We started this deep dive talking about the animals that shouldn't be in a petting zoo.
Right.
But it's got me thinking about the ones that should. The ones that maybe don't get enough attention,
I like where you're going with this. What if we flipped the script? Instead of focusing on the dangers, we highlighted the animals that could benefit from a little more appreciation.
Exactly. Like, imagine a petting zoo that challenges our preconceived notions, introduces us to creatures we might never consider otherwise.
Think about it. Gentle, lesser-known species. Domesticated animals with unique personalities.
Right. And it wouldn't just be about petting. It would be about education, conservation, building a deeper connection with the natural world.
It's a powerful idea. Shifting our perspective from seeing animals as objects to recognizing them as fellow inhabitants.
I love that. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave our listeners with a question.
Oh, a good one, I hope.
What animals would you include in a more mindful, enriching petting zoo experience?
That's a fantastic question. I can't wait to see what our listeners come up with.
Me too. And remember, no matter how cute and cuddly an animal may seem, always, always respect its boundaries. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.